The soft hum of conversation and clinking silverware filled the air of the elegant New York City restaurant. The lighting was warm and subdued, the kind of place where every plate was a work of art and every guest seemed to exude confidence. Emma Brooks, however, didn't feel confident at all. Her reflection in the glossy window outside had reminded her of her reality. Her dress was secondhand, her shoes scuffed, and her nerves shot. Still, she had promised Jenny, her best friend, that she'd go through with the blind date. Clutching her phone, Emma stepped inside, scanning the tables. Table S, she murmured under her breath, her heart pounding. Her eyes landed on a sharply dressed man sitting alone at a table near the back. His dark hair was neatly styled and he seemed engrossed in his phone. That has to be him, she thought, taking a deep breath. She walked over, forcing a bright smile. Hi, you must be Kevin. I'm Emma. Nice to meet you. Liam Parker looked up, startled. He blinked at her, momentarily at a loss for words. Hi, Emma misread his confusion as shyness and slid into the seat across from him, her hands fidgeting nervously in her lap. Oh, I know this is awkward. Blind dates are weird, right? Jenny told me you might be a little quiet, so don't worry, I can talk enough for both of us. Liam opened his mouth to correct her but hesitated. His business associate had just texted to cancel their meeting, and something about Emma's earnest smile made him pause. She was nothing like the polished socialites and calculated networkers he usually dealt with. Instead, she seemed genuine. He decided to play along, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. Right, blind dates or something else? Emma laughed nervously, taking a sip of water. Tell me about it. Jenny's been trying to set me up for months, but I've been too busy. Work, you know? Work? Liam asked, curious despite himself. I'm a waitress, Emma admitted, fiddling with the edge of her napkin. Not exactly glamorous, but it pays the bills well, most of them anyway. Enough about me, what do you do? Liam hesitated. I work in tech. That's cool, Emma said brightly, like coding and apps and stuff. I'm terrible with computers. Something like that, Liam said, his smile widening. He leaned back in his chair, studying her. Her straightforwardness was refreshing, even if it was rooted in a mistaken identity. The conversation flowed surprisingly easily. After that, Emma shared anecdotes about her shifts at the diner, her struggles with paying rent, and her dream of one day opening her own art studio. Liam found himself laughing more than he had in months. Her enthusiasm contagious. You're not what I expected, Emma said suddenly, her tone thoughtful. Liam raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Well, Jenny said you were reserved, Emma said, her cheeks flushing. But you're easy to talk to. Liam chuckled softly. You're easy to talk to too. Emma beamed at the compliment, her nerves easing further. She was about to ask him more about his tech work when her phone buzzed. Hey Emma, where are you? I'm at table 7. Looking forward to meeting you, Kevin. Her heart sank as she reread the message slowly. She looked up at Liam, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. You're not Kevin, are you? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Liam's smile faltered, guilt flickering in his eyes. No, I'm not. Emma's stomach churned as the reality sank in. Oh my God, she muttered, standing abruptly. I am so sorry, I sat at the wrong table. This is so embarrassing. Wait, Liam said, standing to Emma. It's okay, but she was already grabbing her coat and bolting for the door, her face of flame. Liam watched her go, a strange mix of regret and curiosity swirling in his chest. He had intended to correct her from the start, but now he found himself wondering if he'd ever see her again and why the thought of not seeing her bothered him so much. Liam Parker sat in his penthouse suite, staring out at the glittering New York City skyline. The faint hum of traffic below and the muted glow of city lights usually brought him comfort, but tonight his thoughts were elsewhere. He couldn't stop replaying his conversation with Emma at the restaurant. There was something about her, a sincerity and warmth that felt out of place in his world of polished for size and calculated conversation. She had been honest, even vulnerable, sharing stories about her life without a hint of pretension. It was a stark contrast to the people he usually interacted with, business partners who measured their words like currency, women who saw his wealth before they saw him. Emma had thought he was someone else, someone ordinary, and it had made her openness all the more intriguing. For the first time in a long while, Liam felt curious. Across town, Emma flopped onto the couch in her small apartment, groaning into a throw pillow. Her roommate Jenny peeked over the edge of her laptop with an amused expression. That bad, huh? Jenny asked, setting her laptop aside. Emma sat up, her cheeks still flushed from the memory. Worse, I sat at the wrong table, Jenny. I had an entire conversation with some random guy thinking he was Kevin. Jenny stifled a laugh. What happened? Emma recounted the evening, her words tumbling out in a rush. He was nice, really nice, actually funny too, but then I got the text from the real Kevin and I just ran out of there like an idiot. Sounds like a rom-com setup, Jenny teased. Emma groaned again, grabbing a pillow to hide her face. I just hope I never see him again. Jenny raised an eyebrow. You sure about that? You said he was nice. He was, Emma admitted, lowering the pillow slightly. But it doesn't matter, I made a fool of myself. Maybe it's not the end of the world, Jenny said, shrugging. People make mistakes, and hey, if he was as nice as you say, maybe he didn't mind. The next morning, Liam sat in his office absent-mindedly scrolling through emails while his assistant Claire reviewed his schedule for the day. Cancel the lunch with Rothman, Liam said, suddenly interrupting her. Claire paused, glancing at him. You've been distracted since last Night, did something happen? Liam hesitated, debating whether to explain. I met someone, he said, finally. Accidentally. CLA raised an eyebrow. Accidentally. Liam leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. She thought I was someone else. We talked. She doesn't know who I am, and for the first time in years it felt normal. And now? Claire asked, setting her clipboard down. I want to see her again, Liam said simply. CLA's lips twitched into a faint smile. And how do you plan to make that happen? I have an idea, Liam said, standing. Later that day, Emma was finishing her shift at the diner when her phone buzzed. She pulled it out, frowning at the unfamiliar number. Hi Emma, this is Liam. I was the guy at the restaurant the other night. I know it was a mix-up, but I'd like to see you again. Coffee? Maybe. Emma stared at the message, her heart skipping a beat. Liam wasn't Kevin's friend, was he? She showed the text to Jenny that evening, her brow furrowed. What do I do? Jenny grinned. You say yes, obviously. What's the worst that could happen? After a moment of hesitation, Emma replied, okay, coffee sounds nice. The coffee shop Liam chose was modest, tucked away from the usual crowds. When Emma arrived, she found him already seated, dressed casually in jeans and a button-down shirt. Hi, she said, sliding into the chair across from him. Hi, Liam replied, smiling. Thanks for agreeing to this. Emma shrugged. I figured I owed you an apology for running out the other night. No apology necessary, Liam said. Honestly, I'm glad you did. Otherwise I might not have had a reason to text you. They ordered their drinks, and as the conversation flowed, Emma found herself relaxing. Liam was easy to talk to, his humor dry but endearing. He asked her questions about her art, her family, her dreams. So what do you do? Emma asked. After a while, I work in tech, Liam said, keeping his answer deliberately vague. Startups mostly. Emma nodded. That sounds complicated. It can be, Liam admitted, but I like it. As the afternoon wore on, Liam found himself drawn deeper into Emma's world. She talked about her mother, whose medical bills kept her working 2 jobs, and her sketches, which she dreamed of turning into a full-time career. You're incredibly resilient, Liam said, his admiration genuine. Emma laughed softly. Resilient or stubborn? Take your pick. Back at his office that evening, Liam's assistant cornered him. You've been out all day, Claire said pointedly. What's going on with this woman? Liam sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. She's different. Claire folded her arms. And you're still not telling her who you really are? Not yet, Liam admitted. I want her to know me, not my bank account. CLA's expression softened slightly, but her tone remained firm. You can't keep this up forever, sir. She'll find out eventually, and if she does, it won't end well. Liam nodded, knowing she was right, but for now he wasn't ready to risk losing the first real connection felt in years. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air as Emma walked into the cozy cafe, her nerves a little steadier this time. Spotting Liam at a corner table, she waved tentatively. He looked up, his smile warm and inviting. Gone was the sharp business attire she remembered today. He wore a simple gray sweater and jeans, blending into the laid-back vibe of the cafe. Hi, Emma said as she slid into the seat across from him. Hi, Liam replied, his voice soft but genuine. Thanks for meeting me again. She shrugged, trying to play off her nerves. It's not every day someone you accidentally meet at a restaurant text you. I was curious, Liam chuckled, sipping his coffee. Well, I'm glad curiosity won out. The conversation flowed easily, their laughter punctuating the hum of background chatter. Liam asked questions about Emma's art, and she found herself sharing details she rarely discussed. How drawing had been her escape during tough times, how her father used to encourage in her, and how she hoped to one day open a studio for young artists. You're incredibly passionate about it, Liam observed. It's all I've ever wanted, Emma admitted, her cheeks coloring slightly. And you'll get there, Liam said, his tone unwavering. After they left the cafe, Emma led Liam to her favorite park, a small but beautiful space with winding paths and plenty of benches for sketching. This is where I come when I need inspiration, Emma explained, pulling out a small sketchbook from her bag. She flipped through pages filled with intricate drawings of people, trees and sea ideascapes. Liam marveled at her talent. These are incredible. You could sell these, Emma smiled shyly. Maybe one day. For now they're just for me. As they strolled through the park, Emma stopped to sketch a scene of a child feeding ducks by the pond. Liam watched her, fascinated by the way her focus sharpened and her hands moved effortlessly across the page. You're amazing, he said softly. Emma glanced up, her eyes meeting his. As I'm just drawing. No, Liam replied, his gaze steady. It's more than that. A few days later, Liam offered to help Emma with her groceries, insisting it wasn't a big deal. You're going to regret this, Emma teased as they stood in line at the local discount market. Why is that? Liam asked, holding a carton of milk. Because these bags are heavy, Emma said with a laugh. When they reached her apartment building, Liam carried most of the bags up the stairs without complaint, though he couldn't help but notice the peeling paint and flickering hallway lights. This place has character, Liam said diplomatically. As they reached her door, Emma snorted. That's one way to put it. Inside the apartment was small but cozy, with art supplies scattered across the living room and a gallery of Emma's sketches taped to the walls. Liam felt a pang of admiration and guilt. While she lived modestly, her space was filled with warmth and creativity. As they unpacked the groceries, Emma shared stories about her mother, who had always encouraged her artistic pursuits but now struggled with health issues. It's tough sometimes, Emma admitted, stacking cans in the cupboard, but I'm lucky to have her. She's The strongest person I know. Liam nodded, his respect for her growing with each passing moment. One evening Emma invited Liam to an art gallery opening she'd been excited about. As they wandered through the exhibits, Emma's eyes lit up with every piece she admired. Liam couldn't help but be captivated by her enthusiasm. They stopped in front of a painting depicting a father and daughter fishing by a lake, the strokes vivid and filled with emotion. Emma's breath hitched. "What is it?" Liam asked, stepping closer. Emma's voice was barely a whisper. "This reminds me of my dad. We used to go fishing every summer when I was little." Tears welled in her eyes and she quickly wiped them away. "Sorry, it's silly." "I know it's not silly," Liam said gently. Without thinking, he placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "He'd be proud of you." Emma looked up at him, her emotions raw. For a moment the world around them seemed to fade, leaving only the unspoken connection between them. As they walked home, Emma's thoughts were a jumble of confusion and longing. Liam, or Kevin as she still believed him to be, had become someone she looked forward to seeing, someone who made her feel understood, but the nagging voice in her head reminded her that their lives were worlds apart. "I don't get it," Emma said aloud, breaking the silence. Liam glanced at her. "Don't get what? Why you spending time with me?" She admitted. "You could be doing anything with anyone. Why me?" Liam hesitated, his guilt flaring. "Because I like being around you. Isn't that enough?" Emma smiled faintly but didn't respond, her doubts lingering. Later that night Liam sat in his penthouse staring at the city lights. He knew he had to tell her the truth eventually, but the thought of losing her terrified him. For now he decided he'd hold on to this connection even if it was built on borrowed time. The hum of city life buzzed softly in the background as Emma sat cross-legged on her couch scrolling through her phone while sipping a cup of tea. A headline caught her eye. "Liam Parker, the elusive tech millionaire, expands philanthropic efforts." Curious, she tapped the article. The photo showed a sharply dressed man with dark hair, his confident posture unmistakable. Emma's brow furrowed as she squinted at the screen. Something about him looked familiar. "Hey Jenny," Emma called to her roommate who was assembling a jigsaw puzzle at the kitchen table. "What's up?" Jenny replied without looking up. Emma turned the phone around, pointing to the photo. "Does this guy look like Kevin?" Jenny squinted at the screen, then laughed. "Oh, definitely not. That guy's a billionaire or something, right? Kevin's way more down to earth." Emma frowned, the resemblance nagging at her, but she shook it off. "Don't be ridiculous," she told herself. A few days later Emma invited Liam to her apartment for dinner. She wanted to thank him for his kindness and encouragement, which had meant more to her than she could express. When Liam arrived carrying a bouquet of wild flowers, Emma smiled warmly. "You didn't have to bring anything," Liam shrugged, handing her the flowers. "Consider it a thank you for inviting me over." The meal was simple but heartfelt: spaghetti and garlic bread served on mismatched plates. As they ate, Emma talked about her plans to submit her sketches to a local art competition encouraged by Lamp. "Earlier praise. You've done so much for me," Emma said, her eyes soft with gratitude. "Not just with the art stuff, but you're so humble. It's refreshing." Liam's smile faltered for a fraction of a second before he quickly recovered. "I'm just being myself," he said, taking a sip of his water. As Emma continued speaking, Liam's guilt nodded him. She trusted him, admired him even, but it was all built on a foundation of lies. Still, he told himself he wasn't ready to risk losing her. The truth, however, had a way of revealing itself. A week later Emma volunteered at a high-profile charity event, helping coordinate auction items to raise money for underprivileged youth. She was busy arranging a table of silent auction pieces when a ripple of excitement swept through the room. "Who's that?" one of the volunteers asked, gesturing toward the entrance. Emma turned, her eyes widening as she saw Liam stepping into the grand ballroom. He was impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, his confidence street commanding attention. Her heart raced. "What is he doing here?" she wondered as she watched. The event organizer approached Liam, shaking his hand warmly before addressing the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Liam Parker, whose generosity has made this event possible." The applause was deafening, but Emma barely heard it. Her world tilted as the realization hit her like a tidal wave. Liam Parker, the tech millionaire, the man I thought was Kevin. Emma waited until the event slowed down before approaching Liam. He was standing near a group of attendees, his usual calm demeanor intact, but his eyes widened slightly when he saw her. "Emma," he began, stepping toward her. "We need to talk," she said, her voice steady but cold. He nodded, leading her to a quiet hallway outside the ballroom. Emma crossed her arms, her eyes sharp. "So you're Liam Parker, the billionaire, the billionaire. Care to explain why you pretended to be someone else?" Liam exhaled, running a hand through his hair. "I didn't mean to lie to you. When we first met it was an accident. You thought I was someone else, and I liked how easy it was to talk to you. For once someone didn't see me as a dollar sign." Emma's jaw tightened. "So what, you decided to keep playing pretend, let me fall for someone who doesn't even exist?" "No," Liam said quickly, "everything I said, everything we shared, it was real. I just didn't know how to tell you the truth without losing you." "You mean without shattering the illusion?" Emma shot back, her voice rising. "Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? I trusted you, Liam. I thought you were different." "I am different," Liam insisted, his voice tinged with desperation. "Emma, you're the only person who's ever seen me for who I am, not what I own." "I didn't want to lose that." Emma's eyes filled with tears but blinked them back, shaking her head. "You already have." Liam's heart sank as she turned and walked away, her steps quick and resolute. He reached out as if to stop her but froze, realizing there was nothing he could say to fix what he had broken that night. Emma sat in her room, Staring at her sketches but unable to focus, her mind was a storm of emotions: anger, betrayal, sadness. Jenny knocked softly on the door before poking her head in. "You okay?" Emma shook her head, tears slipping down her cheek. "No, not really." Jenny sat beside her, pulling her into a hug. "Do you want to talk about it?" Emma hesitated before whispering, "I don't know if I was falling for him or the version of him I thought I knew." Jenny hugged her tighter. "Whatever it was, you deserve someone who's honest with you. Don't settle for anything less." As Emma lay awake that night staring at the ceiling, she resolved to protect her heart. Liam Parker might have been charming and kind, but the betrayal cut too deep for now. She needed to focus on herself and leave Liam and his lies behind. Liam sat at his desk staring out at the city lights that usually comforted him. Tonight they felt cold and distant. He replayed Emma's words over and over in his mind. You already have the weight of his mistake pressed down on him. He hadn't just lied, he'd broken the trust of the one person who had seen him as more than his wealth and status, and now she was gone. "I have to fix this," he muttered to himself. His assistant CLA entered the room holding a steaming cup of coffee. "Long night." Liam glanced at her, his expression resolute. "I need advice." Claire raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "That's new. What's the situation?" "It's about Emma," Liam said. He explained what had happened, his voice tinged with regret. CLA listened carefully, then nodded. "If she's as special as you say, you'll need to show her, not tell her how much she means to you. Actions speak louder than apology." IIEs. The next day Liam knocked on the door of Emma's apartment. To his surprise, Jenny opened it. "You've got some nerves," she said, crossing her arms. "I need your help," Liam said, his tone earnest. "Please." Jenny hesitated, then sighed. "Fine, you've got 5 minutes inside." Liam explained his plan. He wanted to buy out the small gallery Emma had always dreamed of owning and fill it with her artwork. He'd been secretly collecting her sketches and drawing, knowing how much they meant to her. "I want her to see that I believe in her," Liam said, "and that I'll do whatever it takes to make things right." Jenny studied him for a long moment before nodding. "She deserves someone who fight for her. Don't screw this up." It took weeks of preparation, but Liam poured himself into the project. He worked with the gallery owner to arrange the purchase, carefully creating Emma's artwork to display. Each piece was framed and lit beautifully, transforming the space into a tribute to her talent and vision. On the day of the reveal, Liam left a handwritten note on the front desk ensuring everything was ready before slipping away. Emma was walking home from work when Jenny intercepted her. "You need to come with me," Jenny said, her tone urgent. "What? Why?" Emma asked, confused. "Just trust me," Jenny insisted, dragging her toward the small gallery Emma had admired for years. When they arrived, Emma froze. The sign on the door read "Special Exhibit, the art of Emma Brooks." Her heart raced as she stepped inside. The space was filled with her drawings, landscapes, portraits, and whimsical sketches. She poured her soul into the gallery. Was empty except for a single note placed on a pedestal in the center of the room. Emma picked it up, her hands trembling. "Your art deserves the world just like you deserve honesty, love, and someone who sees you for who you are. Let me try again." Liam, tears wet in her eyes as she looked around. She recognized each piece, every stroke and detail, a reflection of her dream and struggles. Just then Liam stepped out from behind a partition, his expression cautious but hopeful. "Emma," he began, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes, "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I couldn't let you go without showing you how much you mean to me." She turned to face him, her tears falling freely. "You broke my trust, Liam. I don't know if I can ever forget that." Liam nodded, his gaze unwavering. "I know, but I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you'll let me. You're the only thing in my life that feels real." Emma looked away, her heart torn. "You made me feel like I wasn't enough, like you didn't think I could handle the truth that wasn't it." Liam said, his voice breaking slightly. "I was scared you'd see me differently. If you knew the truth, scared you'd walk away before I even had a chance to prove myself." Emma hesitated, her emotions swirling. She loved him, she couldn't deny that, but trusting him again felt like a risk she wasn't sure she could take. "Maybe," she said finally, her voice soft, "some things are worth a second chance." Liam's eyes brightened, but Emma held up a hand. "I'm not saying it'll be easy," she added, "but I'm willing to try." Liam stepped closer, his voice filled with gratitude. "That's all I could ever ask for." As they stood in the gallery surrounded by Emma's artwork, the tension between them eased slightly, but as Emma left that evening she glanced back once, her expression unreadable. Liam watched her go, his heart heavy but hopeful. He had made his move, but now the next step was hers. Emma sat by her bedroom window staring out at the quiet street below. In her hands was the note Liam had left at the gallery, the words etched into her mind, "Let me try again." She'd spent days replaying everything, his deception, his apology, and the length he'd gone to prove his love. The gallery filled with her artwork wasn't just a grand gesture, it was a reflection of how much he believed in her. Even when she doubted herself, her heart tugged in two directions. Part of her wanted to keep protecting herself, to walk away before she risked being hurt again, but another part, a bigger part, couldn't ignore the truth. She still loved him. With a deep breath she grabbed her coat and phone. The cafe was quiet, its warm ambience a stark contrast to the nervous energy Emma felt as she walked in. She spotted Liam sitting at the same table they had shared during their first meeting. He looked up as she approached, his expression a mix of hope and apprehension. "Emma," he said softly, standing as she reached the table. "Hi," she replied, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her chest. They sat down, silence hanging between them for a moment before Liam spoke. "I didn't know if you'd come," he admitted. "I almost didn't," Emma said honestly. She met his eyes, her tone firm but not unkind. "Liam, I've spent the past few weeks
Trying to figure out if I can trust you again and...
I've realized something. I don't need grand gestures. I don't need you to prove anything with money or gifts. I just need honesty. Liam leaned forward, his voice earnest. You have my word, Emma. No more secrets, no more lies, just me for as long as you'll have me. Emma studied him, searching his face for any sign of doubt. All she saw was sincerity. Slowly she nodded. Okay, Leighton, try again. Relief washed over Liam's face, and for the first time in weeks a genuine smile broke through his guarded exterior. Months later, Emma stood in the center of her newly opened art gallery, surrounded by friends, family and supporters. The space buzzed with excitement as guests admired the pieces on display, all created by Emma and a group of up-and-coming artists she had mentored. Liam had helped her every step of the way, not with his wealth but with his unwavering encouragement. He'd insisted the gallery belonged to her both in name and spirit, and Emma had poured her heart into making it a haven for creativity in community. As she mingled with guests, she felt a tap on her shoulder. Turning, she found Liam standing there, dressed sharply but with a mischievous glint in his eyes. Can I borrow you for a moment? He asked. Emma smiled. You already have me, but sure. He led her to the front of the room where the crowd quieted. As he turned to face her, Emma, he began, his voice clear and steady. You sat at the wrong table that night, but from that moment on I knew you were the right person for me. The room filled with soft murmurs of delight as Liam reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. I love you for your strength, your kindness, and the way you see the beauty in everything and everyone. He continued. You've changed my life in ways I never imagined. So Emma Brooks, will you marry me? Emma's eyes filled with tears as the room erupted in applause. She laughed softly, wiping her cheeks. Only if you promise no more secrets. Liam grinned, his voice steady. I promise. She nodded, holding out her hand. Then yes. Their wedding was a small, intimate ceremony held in the gallery itself, surrounded by Emma's art and the people who had supported their journey. Liam made a significant donation to the gallery's outreach program, ensuring that young artists would have a place to grow and thrive. It was Emma's dream come to life, and now it was their shared legacy. As the sun set, casting golden light through the gallery windows, Emma and Liam shared their first dance. I'm glad I sat at the wrong table, Emma whispered, her voice filled with love. Liam pulled her closer, his smile soft. It was the best mistake either of us ever made. As the music played and their friends and family watched with joy, Emma and Liam began their new chapter, knowing that their love had overcome every obstacle and was stronger for it. As the scene fades to Emma and Liam dancing under the warm glow of the gallery lights, their love radiating through the room, were reminded that sometimes life's greatest moments come from unexpected mistakes. Emma's story shows us that trust, forgiveness and love can transform even the most unlikely beginnings into something extraordinary. It's proof that when two hearts are willing to fight for each other, anything is possible. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales of love, resilience and the power of second chances. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story. Music.